Hello, dear students. I am Sampada Sawant, Assistant Professor of Philosophy. In this video, we are going to cover Unit 1, Nyaya and Vaisheshika. And the topic that we are going to cover is Concept of God and Liberation in Nyaya. So let's begin. What is the concept of God according to Nyaya? Like I said, Nyaya is an Astika school, orthodox school. It believes in Vedas, and according to it, God is the author of those Vedas. According to it, God is the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of the universe. He is the efficient but not the material cause of the universe. Efficient is he has made the God, made the world, but he has not made it from himself. If you understand, if you remember the concept in Vedas and the concept of the world and God according to Vedas, you will know that according to Vedas, Brahman created the world from himself. But Nyayas take a different understanding of this world, and according to it, God only made the world. But how did He make the world? He used the atoms of earth, water, fire, air. So, earth, water, fire, air are eternal atoms. Eternal, they exist forever like God. They're always present, forever living like God. So, there was earth, there was fire, that was water, and air. These raw materials were there, and God used this raw material to create the world, to create the universe. A person who desires the universe remains in the state of stability and tranquility. So, if you are someone who desires greater things in life, like the spiritual things, the universe, if you wish to understand the universe, you are constantly in the state of stability. You experience stability, mental stability, and tranquility, that is peace. God has the real knowledge of all objects and occurrences. Okay, obviously. And he is treated as an omnipresent. Omnipresent is present everywhere. And omniscient. Scient is knowledgeable. So all knowledgeable. He has knowledge of everything. Now, what is Nyaya's understanding of soul and liberation? According to Nyaya, individual soul, that is soul lying in individual beings like you and I, okay, like in people, in things. So individual soul is the substratum of consciousness. Substratum is it contains consciousness. So in soul there is consciousness. Consciousness is, like we explained before, awareness of things, a person's awareness of things, or the faculty of the mind which keeps you aware about your life, aware about your breathing process, aware about the things in the world, aware about the knowledge you acquire. Okay, so soul has consciousness. Consciousness is not essence but an only accidental property of the soul. The soul is not naturally born with consciousness. It acquires. Accidental property is it comes later. So soul comes first. Okay, soul is one of the eternal atoms according to Nyaya. And soul acquires consciousness when it gets into a human body. Okay, initially the soul does not have awareness. The soul gets awareness only when it comes in contact with the body. Soul is the real knower, enjoyer, and active agent. It knows everything. It enjoys the things in the world, the material world, and it is as well as active. Okay, it is actively involved in gaining knowledge, in acquiring knowledge. So in perception, we saw it is the soul that comes in contact with the mind, and mind comes in contact with the sense object. Sense object comes in contact with the objects in the world. So soul is always wanting to acquire knowledge, and that is why it is an active agent. It is also eternal substance, like I said, like God or atom. Individual souls are infinite, they are many and distinct from each other. No soul is like the other soul. Each soul in each person is different. They are different from God, who is the supreme soul. So there is a greater soul, the universal soul, the supreme soul, which is God. And then there are individual souls, which are lesser than God in quality, in character. Cognition, affection, and conation are the attributes of individual soul. Cognition is intelligence, okay? How you understand things. It is, like I said, it is a mental process of acquiring knowledge. So it is related to intelligence. Affection is your emotions, and conation is, it's a combination of your intelligence and your emotions. So what you do with the knowledge you gain and how you feel about that knowledge. So what you do with it. So conation combines cognition and affection. Okay. So like I said, cognition would be that there is a laptop in front of me and the laptop has some use. Affection is, I don't like the black color of the laptop, so I usually hate the laptop. It is too heavy, so I don't like to carry it. So constantly certain emotion is attached to this laptop. I don't like it because it is too heavy. So what I do with it, so conation is what I do with that knowledge and with my feelings about this laptop. I don't carry the laptop with me every day to the college. Okay. Because this laptop is heavy and that is why I don't like it because my back pains. So cognition and affection, I combine them and I achieve conation. So these are the attributes of the soul, individual souls. As long as self is attached with body and sense organs, it goes through the cycles of birth and death. So, like I said in the previous third sentence, the soul is the active agent, it is the enjoyer, it is always enjoying the material things of the world. And as long as it keeps itself engaged in the material world, it will never acquire moksha. And moksha is very important to come out of this suffering world, according to Nyaya. So, as long as the soul remains attached to the body, it will always go through constant births and deaths over and over again. And this implies Nyayika believe in the law of karma. So, the more the soul gets engaged in the material world, acquires the material taste of things, the more it commits karmas that will bring it back to this world, that will make it suffer again and again in this world. So, karma is what Nyayas believe in. Bondage is due to ignorance and karma. So the more karmas you do, the more attachments you have in the world. Okay. So that is why Bhagavad Gita talks about Nishkama karma. You do the actions and you forget about what you will get from them. Don't expect fruits or good results from your action. Just do your karma and leave it aside. When you don't expect the fruits of the action, the more you remain detached, not attached to this material world, and therefore ignorance of this world. I'm not aware of what the real thing is. I believe that the material world is real, and that is why we always desire luxurious homes, big cars, fancy cars, big homes, because we feel that this is life, but this is not life. Life is about becoming detached from the world. So bondage in the world, bondage is getting stuck. Okay, you are stuck. Why you are stuck? Because you feel the world is, real world is about material things. You are ignorant about the world. Okay, and therefore you commit such karmas. So being stuck is because of ignorance and karma. And liberation, moksha, is due to knowledge and destruction of karma. In liberation, soul becomes distinct from its mind, body, and experiences. So, when you achieve moksha, you are no more interested in this material world. You go away from this material world. Distinct is you become different. But before liberation, in the period of bondage, you think that your body is everything. The material world is everything. Your feelings are important. What you feel about the world, what you desire, they're all important, but they are not important. And that is what liberation teaches you. Moksha happens and the soul becomes away, distinct from the world. Thank you.